Hello everyone. We try to build a simple Redux project. I have already created an empty project. Just cd, sorry, this is Chinese. Cd Redux app, right? First we need to install React Redux. We need to install Redux.js toolkit. npm start. Redux one, right, and A and R. Okay, in this one we create a folder src, and under src we create another folder Redux. The name is not necessary to be Redux, but use this one. We know that's fine, particularly for Redux. And we use screens, right? In the Redux part, we create file counter .js, and we import from Redux toolkit, create slice. Yes, create slice. Okay, and then we have the const counter slice equals create slice. So create slice take a very complex object, first name, counter, and initial state, value 0, right? The most important part, we need to have reducers. Okay, reducers. Reducers, we have increase. This is object. This is a function. Reduce a function state action, right? But action, we don't need action because action is used to pass in parameters. If we don't need parameters, we just use state dot value plus equals 1, right? Okay. Decrease state. Okay. Oh, this looks ugly because this is in the object. So we just use this, probably make it better. Yes, this looks better. Okay, so we have increase, decrease. We can have increase by value, right? Increase by value. This one needs another parameter, so we take action, right? So plus the action dot payload. So that's why it's useful for taking the passing parameters. All right, so constant. Here we constant object equals counter slice dot actions, right? Export this. But if we want name to be more specific, increase, decrease, increase by value, right? So take this, pass in that part. And also we have this 3 value can be used here, right? Okay. and we can create another function and decrease async. Okay, increase. So this is the function. Take the here it's parameter, right? We want to increase async, probably waiting the time, right? Time or okay. This is time. This function and also this function return another function, dispatch. Dispatch. This one set time interval. So this come to another function, dispatch. Increase. Okay. All right, we have a look of this function. So this function take a parameter of amount and then this return another function, take dispatch and then dispatch in this part. So this simulate the asynchronous operation, right? So this amount is how long it delayed and increased by amount, by value. And also lastly we export default counter slice counter slide.reducer. Okay. All right. So this is slice. So the slice important part. We have the reducer export. Look here. This reducer without s. Here they have s here. But when you export, it's actually it comes to become actions, right? So this is just like a boil the plate or template for reducer slice using the toolkit. Okay, in here we need to create a store, right? Store and import from toolkit. This is configure store, right? Okay, and also import from kind of slice reducer counter reducer from here and export default config state reducer. It's another object counter reducer. Okay, so for this project, for one project, usually they only have one store, but one store they can have multiple slices. But in our case, we only have one slice counter. So this reducer, actually this is a slice. They may contain multiple reducers, right? Okay, then we come to source screen create counter. Just come to the app, put all this into the counter, and in here app export counter. Come to this, we need to import, first import provider, right? From redux react redux. Okay, and we need to import store. From type. Store equals store. Let's provide that. And also need to import counter. Okay, so here we have counter. Sorry, I haven't put counter here yet. Okay, so counter here, store, export, default, configure. Okay, it works here, right? And here we define counter. Counter. Firstly, we try to okay. So look here, counter. That's right. So where's counter? The counter from this part. So this is the action, right? It reduces also rex. I need to export. Select constant counter equals this state returns state dot counter dot value. Okay, so this value, right? Value and counter, because for this store we have this counter, right? So return state is entire state and counter is this part, and then return this value, the counter, this part. Then we come to this counter, we need to get the counter. Import use selector. React redux and import select counter, right? Because use selector and select counter. So this is going to be this is a hook, right? Whenever you come to use this is a hook, then the hook must be put in React component and also must be in the top part, right? Must be here. Counter. Okay. See if we get this. Yes, correct. Got this value. Remember, this is a hook, right? So you cannot put hook into other functions. You can only put hook inside a component and in the top level. You cannot use this. If some condition and then use something, you cannot use that because hook must be unconditionally execute hook, right? So that's to know. And also we need another hook. Use selector is a hook. Another one use dispatch. Dispatch. Use dispatch. Okay. And then we come to function. I just create another button. Button title on price. That's the function dispatch and okay, right? Okay, increase right? When you try to execute a reducer function, you must use the dispatch and increase. Here, remember, you need to execute this function rather than just put this. This is not correct. This must be execution of this function. Okay, we come to look at increase. Increase +1. That's correct. Now we try to create decrease. But of course we need to have a decrease here. Increase a thing, increase by value, right? We have all of them. Oh, title. Decrease. Okay, works right. Decrease, increase. And if we want to add others, we probably have a view style, flex, direction, raw, and just content spaced around. 100%. Okay, increase, decrease, add another function, increase 5, right? Try to increase 5. So dispatch here we need to increase by value 5. Okay, look at this. Okay, increase 5, right? Now we try to do asynchronous increasing. I think dispatch, so this increase wait for 1 second, right? Look at this. See, when I click, wait for 1 second increase. Okay, so this demonstrates the procedure to create the redux object. You see, that looks pretty complex, right? But more or less it goes through this procedure. Remember, we have redux. You need to have slice, reducer functions, and you have store. I need to put the provider to wrap the entire project, right? The most external part have a provider store, and also in that part we use dispatch to run all the reducer method, and use selector to select the value, right? So once the value increased, so it's going to rerun this project. Okay, that's all. All right. Hopefully this helps you to do this exercise and also to build the redux in your project.